an opportunity to add our voice to what is being discussed right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously, what we can say at first is that if you hear about a 21 million US dollars, I mean, everybody will throw their hands in the air and say, look, that's wasted, okay? But to assign it to Indeni is wrong in the first place, okay? Because there seems to be an assertion that that subsidy is because we have Indeni. But it will interest you to know that Indeni has not been operational since December 18th, 2020 up to now. And obviously, I'm not talking about the subsidy having been withdrawn. So implying that that 21 million is still being spent. So it's not related directly to Indeni, okay? And then the issue of Indeni fuel being expensive, from our point of view, is really not true. Because in the structure of things, the government is the one that buys fuel, whether finished products or they buy it as crude oil. And then if it's crude oil, they'll pump it to Ndola, okay, through the Tazama pipeline. Tazama pipeline is paid their pumping fees, and then Indeni is also paid their processing fee. And after we have sold, the responsibility of pricing belongs to the government, all right? Right. And it has really nothing to do with what Indeni says, because our part is to really process the product, and then we push it on the market. And then the government gets that the opportunity to sell through the OMCs, the oil marketing companies, and then that money is supposed to go around and eventually end up with government for another consignment. So what we know is the reason why there could be those challenges to do with.
But what does it mean to your workers? There could be suggestions that maybe the country needs to do away with Indeni. Are those suggestions being made? If so, are they what is concerning you?
Yeah, of course, our primary concern is job losses because of the pronouncements that are coming now. But then look, if Indeni's presence is really that it is a problem to this economy, I mean, all of us would say, you can give us our money, we go. But then the thing is that if you look at the details, you discover that all this thing is not anything to do with whether Indeni is profitable, whether Tazama is profitable. It's just a management side of that procurement chain that the government runs. So for us, if they decided to say, look, we want you to go on the streets, as long as they give us money, obviously, we'll be glad. But are we going to offer any service by not providing alternatives to the government? Because we think that this decision is not correct, okay? Because if you look at the financing for the procurement, we have what is called the Fuel Strategic Reserve Fund. If I may tell you here that money was depleted, okay? And the government has even gone further to have debts, all right? Why debts? It's because when they have procured, they have not honored the payment.
Okay.
So what we thought as Indeni employees was that, look, from December up to about August, was that, look, we are in this situation, we are anxious, we don't know what is going to happen because, there is no product that is coming through. So we managed to box our anxieties, believing that somebody is going to come and save us. And you and me know that there was a talk of fixing stuff, all right? And we thought that, look, there must be somebody who should come and fix the mess we are in, because this mess is not because of us as employees, but this is a mess that the government has caused. So when the new government came in power, we thought that the new dawn will eventually dawn on us, all right? So to hear those pronouncements was quite surprising to us, because what we thought was that the government was going to approach the matter with the seriousness that it deserves, knowing that they have come to fix. But you cannot go and fix stuff if you haven't really known what you want to fix. So for us, what we think is that they haven't understood what they have come to fix, especially in our industry. Okay?
So your concern is that you might be put on the side when there are matters that need to be understood. Let's talk about matters, for example, like heavy fuels, for example.
Okay.
How does that help sustain your Indeni.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. I'll answer it in this way. Indeni, for most people, they think that Indeni is about petrol and diesel, all right? But Indeni has got several other products that it produces, okay? We produce jet A fuel. We produce domestic kerosene. We produce bitumen, okay? We also produce liquefied petroleum gas, which today we are advised, we're talking about climate change and all those things, so that instead of cutting trees, let's use gas. Now, that gas, if I might touch a little on it, is that today we are buying it at 6 kwacha per kilogram. The reason is because Indeni is not operating. When Indeni is operating, that is one of the byproducts that we produce. And it pushes the price to 4 kwacha per kilogram. So that price differential is a burden to the consumers. But obviously, we don't expect the consumers to know that. But the government is really aware about that. We also have another byproduct, which if we bought additional equipment for the refinery, would be able to drive back into the process and produce more diesel and petrol, which is called heavy fuel oil. Today, the arrangement is that heavy fuel oil is given for free to Ndola Energy, okay? Now, free raises a question mark because it's a product from the process which costs money, but the government decided, all right, that we are going to give this byproduct for free to Ndola Energy. And Ndola Energy produces about 50 megawatts, which they then inject into the ZESCO grid, and we have 50 megawatts is quite substantial, okay? Now, that is a power that is not available today, okay? Wow. Because Indeni is off, okay?
Wow.
So, now, there's an interesting thing there, because when Ndola Energy receives that, they produce, obviously there are issues of tariffs, between ZESCO and Indeni, but that is not a subject for now. But the subject is that for Ndola Energy, their claim, even as we speak now, is that they still cut an invoice for their capacity. Because they're saying, look, it's not our responsibility to look for heavy fuel oil. It is your government that promised that they're going to give us heavy fuel oil. So Ndola Energy still cuts an invoice as though they have produced power, and the demand that ZESCO must pay them, okay? So all those are issues that we think that they should not be in a hurry to talk about. I've heard statements like it will be cheaper for us to use the Tazama pipeline to bring finished products, and that looks like a quick fix, but really that is not even a fix.
Our time is not our best friend, Mutukela. What is because I know your union members are watching the following. What would you like to happen now?
What would like to happen now is taking from the statement of the Minister of Finance, as he was speaking about Indeni, which obviously worried us. He said that as a society, we needed to decide what we want. Whether we want expensive fuel, which expense he attributed to the presence of Indeni, or we want cheap fuel. Now, we want to bottle down on that same window that he has opened, because it therefore means that it is not just his decision and the decision of the Minister of Energy and everybody, but all of us must join the conversation. Now, to join this conversation, we must talk about what is the real issue with this sector so that we can fix it together.
Okay.
The fixing must be done by everybody.
Okay.
So we do not want to be left out.
Best of luck. It's a big one. This one, naked eye can't see it, but you're essentially saying that Indeni can. So there are other attributes that can make it survive.
Sure.
Apart from the gasoline that an ordinary person like myself understands.
Sure.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Very best of luck.